Welcome to day 4 of my daily live streams that I'm doing every day until Halloween. And so that, for those of you who are not familiar with what I'm doing, it's a challenge that I posed for myself that I started on Monday that I said, you know what? I don't do live streams as often as I probably should. And I started off this year doing them twice a month, and then it tapered off and I wasn't doing anything for the summer. So here at the end or towards the end of October, I decided I wanted to challenge myself and go every single day until Halloween. And I actually was not going to do the weekend, but I am going to do the weekend now. And it's just a personal challenge that I created for myself. And so what I am going to be talking about today is the tips for overcoming video fears. And yesterday we talked about the benefits. The day before we talked about common video fears, and we only focused on 3. And then we started the week off with basically just talking about the importance of video marketing. So if you missed any of those, no matter what platform you're on, you can, well, on YouTube, it's probably a little easier to find. And then obviously on LinkedIn, you can go to the events page and find those as well. If you're on my email list, you'll be able to find them as well, because I'm going to be sharing that content on my email list, or to my email list, I should say. So definitely the first question that I have for you is, please comment. Actually, it's not even a question, it's a directive. Please comment below if, when you're about to hit the record button to film yourself, or you're about to go live to do a live stream, if you ever get a rush of anxiety and you're just racked with fear before you hit that record button or before you hit the go live button. And please comment and let me know. Even if you're on the replay, please let me know, because I want you to know it doesn't just happen to you. It happens to everybody, and it happens to me, and it's been happening to me every day this week. Right as I'm about to hit go live, I get this rush, and that's just a normal thing. So I don't want you to think that that's like odd, or that you're some weird person, that it only happens to you, and that it's not something that a lot of other people experience. But at the end of today's session, and as any of you, if you've been following me or watching me live or seeing me on the replay, you know that I'm averaging about 20 minutes. So I don't take up a lot of your time. I just really want to address things and then give you some tidbits on ways that you can overcome them, or just learn something that maybe you didn't know before. And then from there, we can certainly talk offline if you want to learn anything more. So hopefully today we'll be able to tackle some of the fears that you have, and basically tips that you can use and utilize in order to get over them. So let's get started, shall we? So for the first fear that we're going to, I shouldn't say it's not a fear, but for the first tip that you need to utilize in order to conquer your video fears, is first and foremost to understand what kind of fear it is. So you need to understand the fear itself. Is it, as we mentioned on Tuesday, there were 3 common fears that we did an overview of. One was the fear of being on camera. And I explained to you that I had that fear. And it's a number of reasons why you have a fear of being on camera. It could be that you're uncomfortable with the way that you look, or it could be that you are concerned, am I actually going to be conveying content that people are going to find interesting and helpful? So there are a number of ways that that can present itself. Another could be a fear of criticism or slash feedback. So regardless of whether it's positive or negative, you may have a fear of what are people going to say. The first 2, criticism and being on camera, were fears that I certainly had when I first started. And then the third is of technology, which is also a number of people that have that fear. And there could be a plethora of other fears that you have. So first, you want to understand, identify, and understand what that fear is. And then the next thing is to really rationalize that fear. So for me, a lot of it was, okay, what's the worst thing that somebody can say? If I have a fear of being on camera and it's because of the way that I think I look, what's the worst thing that somebody can say, and how would that affect me? And would it make a difference in my life? Would it affect me in some adverse way that it would absolutely stop me from doing what I'm doing? And outside of your feelings maybe getting hurt, and the reality is we face this every time we go out and meet people in person. You don't know how that person is thinking or what they're saying in front of you or behind your back. So it really is something that is on that person more so than it's a reflection of you. So really try to understand what the fear is and then rationalize why it is not something that you really need to concern yourself with. When it comes to criticism, that's another thing where it's somebody's opinion of you rather than a reflection of what you're displaying or putting on for your audience. And that is their opinion. I mentioned on Tuesday that some people, it was a fear that I had. And sometimes it can be constructive criticism that can be of benefit and help you. And for that, you need to welcome it and you need to be open to hearing what they are saying, especially if you can learn and grow from it. But for those who, for whatever reason, choose to be negative and choose to just say nasty things, it's more a reflection of who they are and where they are in their life. And more often than not, I always attribute those types of people to being haters. It doesn't matter who you are, they're going to do that because in a lot of ways, they're wishing that they had the balls to do what you're doing. So in that instance, you need to develop a little bit of a thick skin to just ignore them and let that just float over you and not spend an inordinate amount of time stressing over it. So the next one is this tip. Some people are welcoming to it and others feel that it's not beneficial or that it could actually lead to them coming off a little bit stiff when they're creating their videos. And that is to use a script. There is some controversy, but this is the perspective that I'm coming from. If you are concerned, because I've encountered prospects and clients that say, I don't trust myself to just quote unquote wing it or just talk from the heart because there's no way for me to not go off on tangents. And so what could be or should be a 5-minute or a 6 to 7-minute video could turn into 30 minutes because I don't know how to censor or stop myself. So for people that are usually the new ones are the ones that will have that kind of issue. It is advised that you have some sort of a script. Now, hear me out because there's a couple of options on this. So if you choose to use a script, I would advise that A, you're using a script with a teleprompter, and B, that you write that script the way you naturally speak, as opposed to you're writing for a blog post or you're writing for an article or you're writing for your website where you want to have, proper English, for lack of a better term, because a lot of us have a way of speaking, whether it's based on our cadence or if it's based on the vernacular that we use. So you will write typically more formal than you speak. So if you speak very casually, if there's ways that you will say certain sentences, then make sure that you're writing your script that way so that it really does come off as you are naturally speaking. And then I'm also going to recommend that you do something that's coming up in number 3, which is to practice, so that it just makes it a lot easier. Now, the benefits of using a script and the reason why I actually am a proponent for doing it is because you have a structured method in your head, or basically because you're writing this down, of how you want your video or whatever it is that you're doing to go. So you understand what the flow is. You know how you want to open it, what you want to say in the middle, and then what you want to do as you're closing. It's harder to structure that in your head if you don't have something that you're looking at. So that's the main reason why I recommend using a script. Look at it as an actual roadmap that's going to allow you to speak naturally. Now, for those of you who are like, I ain't doing a script because it doesn't make any sense. What am I going to do? I'm just going to have, a piece of paper that I'm looking down at every time I'm talking and I'm going up and down. That just doesn't make any sense. Totally understand it. But like I mentioned before, if you're going to use a script, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you use a video teleprompter along with that. And that could be a physical or one that's in an app. And I will talk tomorrow in Friday's live. I'm going to talk about the tools that you can use to help you overcome these fears. And teleprompters is definitely on that list. However, if you don't want to use a script and you don't want to use a teleprompter, the other option is to have notes. So some people, I never have this in front of me when I'm ready to talk about it, but some people use Post-it notes. And so you can post all of, like, let's say in today's session, I have 4 tips that I'm going to be sharing with you. And I could have all of those listed here and then just have it under the eye of the camera and we're good to go. Instead, what I've chosen to do is I use my notepad on my computer and I have them situated right underneath my camera. So every now and again, you'll see that I'm glancing down, and I'm glancing down just to make sure that I'm covering all of the points for all of the bullets that I want to discuss in today's video. So you can do that as well if you're comfortable. And I kind of know how long I want to speak. So I'm also glancing down to see the clock to make sure that I'm on pace for making this ideally no more than 20 minutes. So the more that you do it, the better off you're going to be at being able to stay on point with what you're talking about, and then B, just making sure that you're able to convey the message that you want to convey with regards to the content you want to share. So the third, like I mentioned, is practice, practice, practice. So if you're using a teleprompter, you certainly want to practice with the teleprompter so that what you are saying in the teleprompter makes sense. And if you need to, change the verbiage because it sounds a bit too stiff, you can certainly do that. You can practice in front of a loved one. So, if I wanted to, I could have my husband or my son listen to me. In the early days, I used to do that, especially when I was doing presentations. I would do it because I wanted to make sure that what I was saying made sense and resonated with the person who didn't know what I was going to be talking about and who was not as familiar with the content as I was. Would they be able to understand it? So you can do that. You can practice with your teleprompter. You can practice with a loved one. You can practice in front of a mirror. And in practicing in front of a mirror is really good because it allows you to see what you look like. That was actually a tactic that a lot of salespeople should know, because I know when I was a sales, and I don't like to say I was a salesperson, I was a client services representative and manager. Back in the day, that was one of the tactics that was used or told to us that we needed to use so that we could see how we were conveying our message and the importance of actually smiling, whether it's that you actually had a genuine smile or that you at least were thinking happy thoughts. And so you could see that when you are looking at a mirror. it's really important for you to see, do you use your hands a lot? I tend to use my hands a lot. Do you, look to one side, or do you frown, or, whatever it is that you do, you'll be able to get a good understanding when you practice in front of a mirror. You can practice also by recording yourself. So you can do a Zoom to yourself, or if you have some other app on your computer, or you can use your smartphone to record yourself, so that again, you can get a taste of the tone of voice that you speak with. So are you speaking in a monotoned, like kind of boring manner that would put people to sleep, or just get them to say, I don't think so, and swipe next to the next video? Or are you expressive in the way that you speak? Do you have little anecdotal things that you can add in there that will keep interest with your audience? So make sure that you have the ability to practice in front of a mirror, or practice in some capacity, so that you'll be able to convey your message a little bit better. So the last tip that I want to share with you is to enlist a partner. Now, hear me out on this. This is actually something that I'm going to be doing on my Monday live stream. And I'm doing it for myself, as well as I'm doing it to help the person that is going to be partnering with me. Sometimes it's easier and more comfortable to do things with somebody else. So you can, you're splitting the fears that you have, or the things that make you nervous. And so if you want, you can certainly partner up with a colleague. It would have to make sense. It can't be like Joe Blow off the street unless you're interviewing them. It would have to be somebody that is compatible to what you do. So for me, because I'm in video marketing and video creation, I can talk with somebody that's also in marketing, whether it be marketing websites, or marketing social media, or email marketing, or something like that, because we have to have something that's sort of complementary, and it just makes sense for the two of us to be together. So that is definitely something that I think can tap down on your fears of going live, or of recording. And these fears, like I think I mentioned on Tuesday as well, are common regardless of whether you're doing pre-recorded videos, or if you are doing live stream videos. So that is it. That's all 4 of the tips. So it's understanding your fear, using a script in some way, shape, or form, or worst case scenario, having notes on your computer so that you know what you're going to talk about. Practice, practice, practice. And then finally, if you want, you can certainly partner with a colleague that makes sense for you to partner with them. So thank you. If you have any questions, again, please post them in the comments below. I want to hear what your thoughts are with regards to fears that you may have. And then maybe if you have found solutions for those fears, I would love for you to share that as well. For those of you who are looking for more resources in order to conquer being able to go and create content on your own, please check out my digital course, which is in the ticker below. It's the Embrace YouTube Video Digital Course, Kickstart Your Journey in 6 Easy Steps. And you can get to it by going on to ediclark.com/the-course. All right. And then also, if you want to meet with me because you're not really sure what it is that you want to do, or how you can get help, and you're not sure if the digital course is going to help you, then definitely scan the QR code in the upper right corner so that you can schedule a free 20-minute consultation with me. And just so you know, the digital course covers everything from what the heck am I going to record, what topics am I going to create, all the way through scripting, editing, and then also marketing your videos. So don't forget that overcoming your fears definitely lies within you. You have to start before you're ready. I firmly believe that. I still am doing it. Like I said, this challenge this week has been I'm going to go live every single day because it's not something that I'm comfortable doing. And I wanted to challenge myself. And so I recommend that you guys do the same. And also remember that you have to practice, you have to be persistent, and you have to be patient with yourself because this doesn't happen overnight. It truly does not happen overnight. You have to keep doing this. You don't have to do an every single day for 8 days straight like me. You could do 3 straight days, or you could do one day a week, or just do 5 days. I think if you can do it consistently, almost like on a daily basis, it knocks out the cobwebs really quickly. So I recommend doing it more often than this. But I want you to be able to get successful or become successful and be visible online using video. And so I'm hopeful that all of these videos that I've been doing live this week is going to help you. Please definitely reach out to me if you have any questions, whether this is live or on replay. I want to hear from you. All right, so take care.